Hello, this is Chips from Singletrack magazine here. It's Fresh Goods Friday Live, and this is a nice cup of tea. We've got here today the FW2TPA100 from E13. This is E13's 11 to 12 speed complete conversion kit. The idea is that you can take your 11 speed SRAM group set, and with the contents of this box you can upgrade your bike to 12 speed without needing to buy new derailleurs, new shifters, and it all comes in this neat little box. We're going to have a look and see what's in it. So firstly, a cassette comes with a big warning sticker that says stop if you got a Hope cassette, because you'll need a shim and we'll send you one. But this is a 12 speed E13 cassette, TRS Plus cassette, and it attaches to an XD driver, so SRAM's small bodied driver. E13 already makes 11 speed versions of these, and they thought, hey, let's just make a 12 speed. And the trouble is, then you need a 12 speed derailleur, you need a 12 speed shifter, but let's look in the box. So inside this fancy box we have an assortment of bits and pieces. So we've got some sprockets and things, we've got some Allen keys and a couple of drivers, and we'll come back to that one in a minute. We've got a couple of washers, plates for jockey wheels. We've got some very appealing dark blue grease, a chain, what's that? A YBN chain, 12 speed chain, and a cable. So that should be everything you need to convert it. Now, there aren't any instructions in the box because E13 has done a pretty good video explaining how to do it, and I will try to explain roughly what happens. So attaching your cassette should be no problem. That fits onto an XD driver. E13 has it goes on in a couple of pieces and you bolt it on, but it's not too hard a thing. I'll go through the ratios in a sec. You also get, the idea is that you take your shifter apart and you take your rear derailleur apart as well. Try not to stab myself in the hand. This is the claw, the idea is that you take your shifter body apart, and this is what I thought was a replacement sprocket. It's not. It's for keeping the chains, keeping the bolts, and so your shifter doesn't fall to pieces. You get two different ratchets here. One's for XX1. There's a different procedure for XX1 compared to the other ones. It's compatible with GX, X1, X01 and XX1. Same main bolt, but you swap that if you've got an XX1 shifter. So this is contained deep into the shifter. You have to do some pretty severe disassembly, but if you're working in a nice clean environment and not in a hurry, it should be possible to do in, I don't know, half an hour on a quiet Sunday evening. You get these two derailleur spacers, jockey wheel spacers. That's to space the jockey wheels so that they'll reach the far ends of the E13 12 speed cassette. So it's dished, so it will extend over the spokes, so it's quite a wide thing, but it'll work with a regular SRAM derailleur. It just needs these new spacers. and you've got an assortment of Allen keys, so all the Allen keys you need to do the job. You need to supply your own Torx bit. Oh no, they supply a Torx bit. And there is also a square driver, which is for owners of XX1 cassettes, because you need a special square driver. It's to stop the likes of you and me disassembling our XX1 shifter. So they provide all of those. So you've got all the tools. You have this, which is a holder for the bolts so that your shifter doesn't blow itself to pieces. And you have to take taking the SRAM shifters apart are always a bit scary when you change the cable, because you take the top cover off and there's the spring and you're concerned it's all going to go flinging itself around the room. But certainly in E13's video, Connor there does a very good job of not throwing things around the room. And the idea is you take everything apart and you get to this point on the SRAM shifter and you replace their sprockets with yours. And so instead of 11 clicks, you get 12 and you get 12 sprockets. Is it worth it? That's entirely up to you and whether you want to go all 12 speed or not. A regular E13 cassette costs about £250, 260 euros. I've only got the euro prices to hand, and this kit by comparison is an extra 50 euros, so it's 299 euros, and it's everything you need. You provide obviously the wheel, the shifter and the derailleur. Difference in ratios. Hello, sorry, part two, we had a slight technical issue there, so I thought I'd take this apart. Just to recap, this is E13's clever upgrade system for people who already have 11-speed SRAM systems. You can make it 12-speed. Probably best doing if you were planning on replacing a cassette anyway, because a big chunk of the expense is in this. Normally 260 euros for a cassette from E13. It's worth revisiting this cassette just because it's very lovely. So this is all machined in one piece. It's very nice. And then there's a second bit here. This it's nice blue grease everywhere. This attaches around the XD driver body, snugs up there. This then attaches, and there you go. You've got a complete cassette. So there's no tiny little sprockets falling over the place. So you've got 11-speed SRAM system. You're going to upgrade it to 12-speed. So you buy one of these, and it comes in a neat little box, and you get 12-speed chain. You get a new cable, and you get all of these things. Why would you want to do that? Because you want your bike to be one better, is the answer really. There is a slight difference in ratios. They both start at the same point, they both finish at the same point. The 11 and 12 cassettes both start at 9, which is the thing that E13 does that SRAM doesn't, which means you can use a much smaller sprocket up front, smaller chainring, because you've got top gear of whatever it is, 32 by 9, which is quite a dramatic difference over a 10. So the top end is a 46, which is as low as Shimano currently goes. And the ratios, if for anyone who's interested, 11 speed is 9, 10, 12, 14, 17, 20, 24, 28, 33, 39, 46. And 12 speed is also 9, 10, 12, 14, and then it goes 16, 18, 21, and then there's the same 24, 28, 33, 39, 46. So you've got a slightly better range in the mid-range for your extra one sprocket. So that's where it is, somewhere in there, back there. Whether people desperately need that 12 speed, I don't know, it's one better, isn't it? So, and it involves taking apart your shifter, digging down to get to that bit and replacing it without everything falling apart. As I said, the instructional video that E13 does is pretty good and should give you everything you need to be able to do it. Slightly different procedure if you're on XX1 compared to X01, X1 GX, but not all that different. Won't work with NX because NX uses a Shimano regular cassette body, so only for SRAM bodies. It will work with Hope's cassette body, but you do need an extra shim that E13 will happily send you. Wow, well, any questions? Let me see if we've got any questions on the thing. Yes, I'm glad you like the shirts. That's great. Hello from people. So, no, I guess not. There you go, it's out now. E13's, I'm assuming they've got a catchier name. Jeff Blair doesn't see the point. Will it wear the chain even quicker? Not really. E13 reckons that their chain angle is better than Shimano's Eagle. I guess because it's fitting sprockets into the same space. So they reckon it won't wear it any quicker than 11 speed already does. And yes, the bike goes up to 12. So that's it. All comes in this neat little box. We'll be fitting it to a test bike shortly, and we'll let you know how we get on, especially how we get on with the installation, which is probably the scariest bit of the whole thing. The actual riding it is going to be the easy part. So wish us luck. We'll then be trying to fit these bits inside the shifter and the derailleur and using these things and stuff. So thanks for joining us. It's been Chips on Facebook Live and the other channel on a Friday. And now it's time for the traditional Drink Beer at Desk Friday. So enjoy your weekend and we will see you next week.